Hello everyone, HisRoyalFatness here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I am going to be reviewing the brand new Tier 10 British light tank, the Vickers Light 105. And what do I think about this tank? I think it's really good, but I think what Wargaming have done well with this vehicle is they've balanced it really nicely. It's not overpowered, it's not like a Sheridan 2.0, like thank heavens, because that would be terrible. And yeah, I'm just going to go over some of the pros and cons of this vehicle and then show you some gameplay, because who really cares about looking over all of the statistics, right? So, what do I like about this tank? Its mobility is great. It has an okay turret. It has decent DPM. I think what I love about this tank the absolute most, though, is the 325 millimeters view range you have on this vehicle, which is really quite good. Some things I don't like about this tank is the gun handling. That is for certain. It has very big dispersion factors, and it's not fun because it makes snapshots really difficult. And when you're a light tank, you don't want to sit in front of the enemy. As you can see in that clip there, if you get caught out of position, you're just getting deleted like that. So you kind of always want to be on the move, but you kind of have to stop to aim shots with this vehicle. Now, when you aim in your shots fully, it's great, but if you don't get that opportunity, you know, you're gonna miss a lot of shots. So that's my brief overview of the tank. So without further ado, let's just jump right into some gameplay. And how I'm gonna do this gameplay is I'm actually gonna show you two different equipment setups. So for this first replay, I am running the gun rammer on this vehicle, which actually it does perform very well with the gun rammer. I did switch to calibrated shells later on for the next replay because I like having the reliability of being able to pen my shots. I think of it in terms of usable DPM. So sure, you may have over 3,000 DPM running a rammer, but how many shots are you bouncing missing? That reduces your DPM compared to if you have slightly less DPM, you're actually penning a lot more shots, right? So usable DPM is how I like to play this vehicle. And you're going to see this gun is just not very reliable. I do have some pretty poorly aimed shots in this game, but it's going to bounce a lot. Now, I'm waiting for the IS-7 to poke there, and the reason is I don't really want to poke on the other side when an enemy team has a Waffenträger and a 183 that are unspotted, right? If I poke on the left side of the map, I'm just going to get shot. So my goal is just to try and farm these heavy tanks, but that was a pretty poor shot. Now, a great part about this tank is the high explosive ammunition. I think it's cheap HESH, and you definitely want to carry a lot of this because it is so useful, especially right now with light tanks running around all over in Tier 10. You can really farm up damage so fast with the high explosive ammunition. But you're going to see what I'm talking about when I say about the gun. It kind of bounces off the lower plate there, and it's just... It seems like the shots don't really often go exactly where I'm aiming them. And it's just a little bit annoying. But it's a really good balancing feature, because if it had a really accurate gun, this vehicle would pretty much replace the Leopard 1, right? And, you know, the Leopard 1 is still unique and has its own place in this game, where this vehicle doesn't replace it. So I'm very happy about that. You know, Wargaming's created a little niche for every single one of these light tanks, and, you know, it doesn't replace any of the tech tree tanks. Now, Type 61, I'm going to put an HE in this hatch, and now if you don't know it, you can HE the Type 61's hatch with anything above, I think, like 90 mils of HE pen, so definitely use that. This tank's so weak frontally, and you're going to see how useful the high explosive ammunition is there. I'm just able to delete that Type 61 so fast. And then this Vickers light is coming in, and he's shooting all HESH. Now, I wouldn't recommend shooting HESH at the front of these vehicles. As you can see, this dude's going to bounce. Yeah, only shoot HE if you have the sides or the rear of the tank. Now, I'm going to let this 57 take the shot there from the 183, and that's just using his HP because he has more HP, more armor than me, and I wanted to wait to push this Vickers light until I saw the 183 fire, so just using that 57 is pretty much a meat shield there. But that's what you want to do in the Vickers light. You really don't want to take shots in this vehicle, because even though it has a decent turret in regards to, like, the gun mantlet's pretty well armored, it still can get deleted so fast. It doesn't have a lot of HP. Its hull armor is pretty bad. So, you know, use your teammates to take the shots for you. And I'm actually going to mess up this game in the end. I kind of rush some shots and actually throw the game, which is disappointing because it was actually a pretty decent game. So now, what am I going to do? I'm going to push this IS-7. He's in the open. I want to get him killed as fast as possible. He's in a triple-way crossfire. He's not going to survive that long with the 62A behind him, me shooting him from behind as well. I do take a shot from the waffle there. Now, I did not expect him to be pushed so far up. I thought the waffle would be further left on the hill, which is a little bit unfortunate. Taking that shot there may or may not actually end up costing me the game, which is not great. So right now, I think I just want to push this bat shot. I know that bat shot's a one shot, and I'm not going to full commit to just YOLOing in, right? I'm going to play it very slowly here because I want to try and get the bat shot and not take a shot from the waffle. Now, I'm surprised that the bat shot's there, and I managed to get a good kill shot on him, but unfortunately, he still hits me for a decent amount of damage. I am not going to poke here. Now, the reason is I thought that Waffenträger would be pre-aiming the corner, right? So I'm going to let the 62A go first. He has worse camo than me, so he'll get spotted first if the waffle's there. I know it's using my teammates, but that's exactly how you want to play with these vehicles. Let your teammates take shots. So that's why I let the 62A go way in front of me. But then I saw, okay, the waffle had pushed all the way out. I'm free to push up now. Yeah, I really thought the waffle was going to sit in the bush where I'm right now and just pre-aim to try and kill me, which kind of surprised me that he did. Now, I'm going to get a little bit unlucky here with some of the shots. The gun, like I said, it's accurate, but sometimes it just misses shots, right? And that was pretty well aimed in. So it's balanced, but it's annoying when I'm playing it, but I understand why Wargaming made the gun have rather poor dispersion. It's on the move, at least. It balances out the tank nicely. Now, here is a perfect example of the camouflage in this tank. This 183 absolutely cannot spot me, and with the gun rammer, I'm just ripping him apart, right? I have adrenaline running, so I have a heap of DPM just dumping into the side of this dude's turret. There's nothing he can do about it. There's a 57 below him. 57 is going to put a shot on him now, and he's dead. And just like that, the 183 is out of the game, and that was just so fast. Now, I'm still playing very cautiously here because I don't know where that waffle is. I thought, well, maybe he's still kind of chilling by the base of the hill. Could put a shot onto me. But I quickly realized that's not what he's doing. Either way, I'm going to push left because I can have more cover. If I cross over that bridge, I'm very exposed. Whereas if I take this route, there's a lot more cover for me to dive behind if I spot the waffle. But I do not spot him, and I'm thinking, okay, wait, he must have pushed all the way up over onto the hill, behind the hill at least, and I just want the IS for the cap for now, just to kind of bring the waffle out, and I can see, okay, wait, the waffle just reset the IS-4, and the only positions he can reset him is from the back of the hill, towards our spawn side, so I'm just trying to spot him up for now. I'm a one-shot, right, so if I just YOLO out, I'm going to get myself killed. I'm looking right. I just want to make sure he didn't pull back. Okay, cool. So he has to be on my left. So I'm going to start looking left. And there he is. I can put a nice HE shell into him, which is great. So now he's a 2-shell. At this point, the IS-4 should be pushing with me. But he's going to continue the cap, which is a little unfortunate. And I messed up my headshot there. If I hadn't messed up that headshot there, this game would have been a win. Now, what I'm going to do poorly here is I'm going to firstly misjudge my positioning and think I have more gun depression than I really do. And secondly is, even though there's 15 seconds left, I rush out to try and take a kill shot on this waffle. See, right here, I thought, okay, I would have easy gun depression to kill him. So I'm just going to poke over. Turns out I didn't have the gun depression, so he actually snags the kill shot on me. Which throws the game. That's a little unfortunate. The IS-4 ends up drawing it because he sits in the cap for the rest of the battle, which is, you know, it happens. But yeah, definitely I could have played that a little more slowly. I threw that game pretty hard in the end. Still a good example of what the tank is capable of, though. Alright, and now, moving on to the second battle, we are on Canyon, one of my favorite maps for light tanks, and just because when you go to this position, you can spot tanks so easily, especially when you have that 325 meters view range. I do run optics on this vehicle, by the way. I don't see the point in running a camouflage net, so I can just get an early shot and then pull back, and I've spotted 6 tanks there. So I know pretty much the whole team is going right. That shot was a little bit poorly aimed by me, but I feel like it could have hit if the gun was just a little more accurate there. But, I mean, it happens. I can't really complain about that. I could have aimed that a little bit better. Now, I am running calibrated shells in this example, and what you're going to really notice is just how effective the high explosive ammunition is with calibrated shells. Vehicles like the VK4502B, you can pen flat in the side with the high explosive ammunition when you're running calibrated. And being able to do 430 plus damage to the side of a tier 9 heavy tank with a light is actually very satisfying. So for that primary reason, I do run the calibrated shells on this. It also makes it easier to pen heat shots. So let's say the front of an E100's turret, it's much easier to pen heat through the front of the turret when you have calibrated than if you're just running a rammer. Now, you don't want to sit in front of heavy tanks, but sometimes you don't really have the situation where you can pull out and flank, right? If the enemy has a really good spread or a lot of TDs, sometimes you just have to hold those mid positions and, you know, try and snipe shots into the enemy team. And this tank is better at doing that than, let's say, the Batchat. The Batchat, you always want to be circling around, finding new angles. With this vehicle, you can afford to sometimes kind of sit around, haul down, and try poking for shots. Now, because of that, I generally play this tank worse than the Batchat. Just because I tend to play this vehicle a little bit too aggressively, and it usually works out pretty well. But then again, there's those games where I just get absolutely deleted, because this tank, it really doesn't have armor. I know it has an armored turret, but everything else is butter. And you don't have that much HP. It's very low HP at tier 10. Your DPM isn't even that good compared to other medium tanks. Let's say the Leopard or 62A, they'll rip you apart. E50Ms are super annoying to deal with in this vehicle because they can just YOLO you, and it's hard. You have to aim for their weak spots, and you don't want to sit in front of an E50M, right? It will ram you. But you have to aim, and you can't shoot on the move very reliably. So that's what's annoying. Now you can look at this VKB. Easy HE, straight through his side, right there. And that's why I love the calibrated. Now, rammer is still a good option with this vehicle, but personally, I'm always going to run calibrated for that usable DPM and the HE increase penetration. So at this point, what's happened with this game? The enemy team just pushed up right, and they kind of just allowed me to farm them in the mid. They didn't send any vehicles to the mid to counter me until now, and by this time it's a little bit late, so I'm going to take the tracks off in this ISA. And I know there's an E3 flanking behind me, right? Which is why I'm not going to pull all the way back when this ISA is pushing at me, and the moment he fires, I push up, because I know, wait, where's that E3? He hasn't been spotted for a while. He has to be pushing around behind me. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm going to try and block that ISA with my turret, but that is another issue with this tank. It's very tall for a light tank, right? So even when you're side hugging a vehicle, they can still easily just shoot you in the hull. And right now, I'm just positioning myself because I don't know where that E3 is. I don't want him to YOLO me, so I'm pushing to the left to make sure that E3 can't just YOLO into the open and YOLO me. Now I have a crossfire with this Badger, and the E3 is not even going to pay attention. I'm going to mess up my headshot there, but it's okay. I took his tracks off, which is great. So now he doesn't have a repair kit, and you know, it's just free farm at this point. You can just load the high explosive, and the DPM with this vehicle with high explosive is simply insane, right? You're doing like 430 alpha per shot, and there's nothing this E3 can do. There's a Badger in front of him. There's a Vickers behind him. It's just Britain versus America. Okay, no, that's a bad joke. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of brief review of the Vickers Light 105. I think it's a really good tank, and I think Wargaming's done a great job balancing this vehicle out. It has its own little niche. It hasn't replaced any vehicles like the Leopard 1 or the STB 1 in playstyle, and I really enjoyed this tank. You know, I have some gripes with it, but I overall really enjoyed this vehicle. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of review / gameplay of the Vickers 105. If you like the content, please feel free to subscribe and like the video. Have a wonderful day, everybody.